So, how did you get with astrology? So,
Well, I don't know. I suppose one of the things is when I was nursing, when I was 18, I just bought Linda Goodman's Sun Signs, and my sort of best nursing friend was so typical of her sun sign, which was Gemini. I mean, I felt I was pretty typical, but anyway, the book is such fun. So I just got obsessed with sun signs, and I thought, there's something in this. This is not rubbish. There's something in this. And that sort of started my journey. I was in a small provincial town at the time, and there wasn't much in the way of books. But
where was it?
This was in Stafford, in the middle of England. And it would have been about 1972-ish. And actually, it didn't come as a huge shock to me. As a child, I'd always asked the sort of huge questions in life: why are we here? Who's here? And all that. And I'd also been always very interested in what makes people tick. But anyway, in about 74, I went to Toronto. Well, that's a huge long story. But anyway, in Toronto, it was a capital city, really. And they had more astrology books, how to calculate a horoscope and all that. And so I bought those, and I just, over a period of years, got obsessed. And then I started doing proper courses and all the rest of it. So I didn't think I'd do it as a living. I didn't think you could. I was just obsessed. How can this work? What does this mean? All those sort of questions.
And in which way you think it works? How?
You mean how does it work?
Yeah.
I've no idea how it works, except through astrology you realise that we are, how can I put it? We don't exist in isolation. We're all part of a whole. Well, it would take too long really, but yes, we don't exist in isolation. And in the same way that the horoscope, the planetary symbols, or the whole symbols of the zodiac will describe aspects of one's psychological being, if you like, one's psyche. Well, they're also significators. They're also the planets behind everything in nature. Well, everything, really. And you can start to find patterns between people, places, and ideas. I mean, as I think you know, Alicia, countries, even towns, everything has a chart. This moment in time has a chart.
Yeah.
The whole philosophy of astrology is quite interesting
And
gripping, really.
did it change a lot your perception about astrology from the very beginning to today?
Well, it's become more. I started on, like every student of astrology, I started from a very, basic beginning. I mean, I remember when I was in Toronto, for a time I lived in a hostel, and I used to guess everybody's sun sign, and I could do that. I'd been looking at sun signs for quite a while, and I could do it 3 out of 4 times. I couldn't do it now, but I can pick up other things now, and I have a much deeper I have a deeper understanding of things, but I've lost some of the earlier stuff, I suppose.
Okay. More intuitive at the beginning, or it's not that?
No. Astrology gets more exciting as you go on, really.
As it gets?
As you go on, it gets more exciting.
Yeah. And what do you could tell people about forecasting and predictions?
Well, first of all, one has to look at the whole question of fate and free will.
Yeah.
I suppose I do believe we have a certain amount of free will. In fact, the psychologist Jung says that we have free will, but not the will to use it, which the astrologer Liz Green often quotes as well. So what the horoscope, what using astrology does, it increases one's consciousness, one's self-awareness, one's understanding. And the more conscious we are, the more we are aware of having choices and aware of unconscious motivation, what may be leading us to do things that we didn't know. So really, astrology should sort of help one increase free will. Nevertheless, there are some parameters. We don't come into the world with an entirely blank page. And you can think about fate and free will without even thinking of astrology. You can think of the city you were born in, the parents, the economic situation you were born in. You may rise above it or fall from whatever position, but nevertheless, statistically, you're most likely to keep around it. So, fate and free will, one has free will, but sometimes one needs to become much more conscious of it and use it. Nevertheless, some things are fated, there's no doubt about that.
And do you have some personal signs in your chart that might correspond with astrology interest?
Well, I think there's too much emphasis on signs, really, but I am a Sun Aquarius, and Aquarius is the sign of the true, in a way, scientists are kind of, what's the truth? Does this work? Does this not work? And also Aquarius tends to be very, very interested in human nature. I also have Virgo rising, which is quite observant, so I am quite observant. But, there's millions of Sun Aquarius Virgo risings out there who are not astrologers, and there's millions of astrologers out there who have nothing in Aquarius, so it doesn't work quite like that.
And in your experience, which are the main fields that people want to know about? I mean, love, money, health.
Well, you mean clients? Yes. People want to know about, particularly younger people, but people want to know about love if they're going to meet somebody, or the relationships of one type or another. Because of course, we're all in relationship to lots of people, really. People want to know about relationships, they want to know about their work, and as you say, money sometimes, and health sometimes. It also slightly depends on the culture in which people find themselves.
And
like if, for example, I do work in China, and the young Chinese people are obsessed about trying to find work, and they're brought up in a certain way that really they're only conscious very often of certain avenues open to them. Yes, whereas in the West we're more governed by the Hollywood movies.
Yeah, and just in that way, what about love? What would be your definition of love, if you can say it in one sentence?
I don't think I can say it in one sentence. There are different types of love. There's different words for love. I suppose when you love somebody, you forget yourself. You're more concerned with the other person. But as I say, there's different types of love in different situations. But most love carries that, maternal love, paternal love for the child. The parent becomes unimportant. The child is everything. And one feels like that for one's lover.
And do you want us to give us a message? This is going to be on internet, and
if you want to know what to do with your life, do what makes your heart sing.
Sing?
Sing. What makes your heart sing? What makes you happy? If you have a decision between X and Y, what makes your heart sing? You don't bother what anybody else thinks. You do what makes your heart sing. And the other thing is, know thyself. Find ways to discover yourself.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot.